Welcome to another podcast from my studio. I'd like to show you what I've been up to for the months of January, February, and now a little bit of March. I've been mostly working on my watercolors, but also finishing up some acrylic pieces too, which I'll talk about in this podcast. Spring is on its way, I think. I'm not really convinced spring is here until May rolls around, but that's Wisconsin. Maybe it's different where you live. But when May comes, then I'm like, well, I think this spring thing will catch on. Maybe even summer will happen. But let's not get hasty. Anyway. Okay, lately I have been working on art cards, otherwise known as ACOs. And these are the ones that are currently up for auction on eBay. The hummingbird already sold, so I'm getting ready to cut it all up and whatnot. But it starts out here, well, all of them start out here in my sketchbook. I don't like to cut them up beforehand and paint on them because I feel kind of fenced in and it just doesn't seem to work for me. So this one I just listed on eBay, so we'll see how it goes. I'm probably going to do another series, maybe other than birds, like tropical fish, butterflies, if you like that. More of the scientific study kind of subject matter, if you will. So, that's that. Through the magic of television, I was able to cut up all my items here, my cards, without everyone having to watch or wait, because that's not really fun. And it involves a utility knife and maybe some swearing. But this is what they look like as the cards are getting ready to be sent to their homes. I do the assembling of it in another room, but it starts here. And not much left to say about that other than this is what they look like. They look like baseball cards, I guess. And people like to collect them and do what people do with art, whatever that is. For those who have been waiting since the last podcast to see what was going on with the other acrylic pieces that I was working on, I did finish them. And it is called Red is the Color of Anger and Love. And here is the finished product. It's also on my website in the portfolio site if you wanted to take a better look at it. As you can see here, I'm putting the finishing touches on the mermaid piece, Secret Lives of Mermaids, on this piece. And I think I'm going to call it done and scan it in. So hopefully by the time I'm done with my podcast, it'll be in the gallery area and you can take a closer look at it than what you can probably see here. But there's a few things going on in it, as you can probably tell, especially down in the left-hand corner there with the diver. But again, I'll let everyone take a look at it closer up in the gallery section. On the vintage front, last month was my birthday, and my parents were kind enough to send me, as you can see here, a huge box of vintage magazines that they obtained on the internet via eBay, which is just really cool and incredibly awesome. And one of the awesome finds among Women's Day magazines and Esquire you just saw there was this Fortune magazine from February of 1941 that has come in the original mailer, which is pretty sweet. So I'm currently trying to figure out what magazines, if any of them, get sacrificed to the art gods. Right now I'm just kind of taking them all in and absorbing them and really appreciating some of these ads in here. More on the vintage front, I've been really getting into these types of illustrations that are probably were pretty popular in the 60s and into the 70s, and it's the ink on watercolor, or maybe it was marker, but it sure looks like watercolor to me. But this is an old music book that I got a number of years ago, actually, just at the Goodwill, and it was like 50 cents or something, but it is really cool. It's a school music book, and it's got these really cool watercolory. Here's a really good example of what I'm talking about with the watercolor and the ink on top. And I don't know, I'm trying to come up maybe with a new style, or I don't know. I'm thinking about it. I'm mulling it over. But there was another. This is a really good example too of just some really gorgeous work. And then also in some of my other magazines, I've come across recently the same kind of style, and I don't know, I'm totally just digging it and getting into it. And I don't think I'll really cut these up, but the more I run across, I definitely would like to include in the podcast and show everybody, because they're very cool. Well, I think that about wraps it up for this podcast. Hoping I can do another podcast sooner rather than later. I like to do one once a month, but February got a little crazy, a little hectic. I wasn't able to do one. On the music front, there will be a couple music performances by Mark Muskelly and I. One being Capitola, and the other aside from Capitola at the Crossroads Coffee House in Cross Plains on April 30th. And then I think there will be a performance every month, spring, summer, probably into the fall, of Capitola as well. And I'll post those dates on my website and keep everyone informed about when that's going to be. Alright, well, thanks for checking it out, and I'll talk to you later.